Okay, well, we start off with this. Anyway, welcome to Farm to Home. This morning we have Thomas McDowell, registered pharmacist. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sandra. Glad to be here.
So many people have been looking forward to you being on.
Well, I really
love it.
Really enjoy being on here and sharing educational information and a lot of topics that are relevant to a lot of people in the community. And so we're excited to dive into today's topic, which is going to be probiotics. And
well, Thomas, I feel like, not to interrupt you, but I feel like people don't know. They hear the word probiotics, but people say, what are they? And why are they so important to our body? They don't know. So many people don't know. I don't know everything there is to know about probiotics. So I'm so excited you're talking about it.
Yeah, and it's one of those items that I think a lot of people are like, well, probiotics are good. They've heard people talk about how you need to take a probiotic. Well, what is it and why do I need to take it? You really want to at least look into that before you take any over-the-counter item or prescription drug. And so we're going to go into some detail on what are probiotics, what do probiotics do, and some details to look at when you're choosing a probiotic.
Yes.
So we'll start with diving into just what are probiotics.
Yes.
So they are supplements, over-the-counter supplements. You can get them at almost any pharmacy, and they contain good or friendly bacteria.
Okay.
Live bacteria. So that is a little concerning when you hear the word bacteria. And you're taking bacteria by mouth
it's
in a
hard for us to
capsule.
Believe that bacteria is good.
Yeah, we usually don't think about that, but you've heard probiotics are good, so we'll talk about why bacteria can be good. So our bodies contain a lot of bacteria naturally. It's called natural flora or our microbiome. Our skin, our mouths, our stomach specifically contains a lot of bacteria and a lot of good bacteria. And so, there's also some bad bacteria in our bodies. And, if we eat the wrong thing or are exposed to bad bacteria, it can cause an illness or sickness. But it's really crucial to maintain good bacteria in our bodies. So why is that important? Why do I need good bacteria? Especially, we're going to focus on the gut and our stomach. Good bacteria and good friendly flora helps improve your immune system. First off, it helps protect against the bad bacteria. So if you have an imbalance there between good and bad bacteria, you could have some issues where you're having upset stomach or GI issues, cramping, bloating, that sort of thing, or even worse. And there's certain actual bacterial infections that occur due to an overgrowth of bad bacteria.
Wow.
And there's a lot of reasons that may happen, and we'll talk about that some. And another thing that good bacteria, and when we talk about good bacteria, we're focusing on probiotics, kind of one and the same. They can help improve digestion and absorption of food and nutrients, which touches back on our topic last segment about nutrient depletion. So probiotics are a good option for nutrient depletion under certain situations. And so in a balanced situation in the stomach specifically, you have the right number of good and bad bacteria. The bad bacteria is not ever taking over or anything.
Right.
The good bacteria is keeping it at bay and also helping aid digestion, absorption, and your immune system. And just a fun fact, about 70% of your immune system lies in your stomach, in your gut, your GI tract.
Right, wow.
So gut health is really important, and it's something that we see a lot of people struggle with, is GI issues.
Does everybody need a probiotic?
Well, I don't necessarily recommend it just for everybody in general, but if you're having any GI issues, obviously if it's something severe, talk to your physician about it. But if you're experiencing some cramping or even some irritable bowel syndrome, there's potential for probiotics to benefit you. And then another situation where we always recommend a probiotic is if you take an antibiotic. So if you're taking an antibiotic for whatever reason, you know, obviously a bacterial infection, say that you have, an infection in your mouth or something like that, and you're treated with an antibiotic, you're going to ingest that antibiotic, and it's going to kill some of your good bacteria.
Right.
And that's not a good thing.
Right.
It's doing its job, but it's kind of a shotgun approach where it's
Right.
going to kill the bad bacteria, which is good,
Right.
but it's going to kill the good bacteria,
Right.
which is bad.
Right.
And so we always recommend to our patients when they're picking up their antibiotic to, hey, we'd really like you to think about getting a probiotic, because that can counteract the negative effects of the antibiotic, and make sure you're maintaining that healthy balance.
So when you get your antibiotic, go ahead and get your probiotic.
Yeah, and we recommend taking at least the duration of your antibiotic, but I'd like to see a little bit longer. And then other situations are where if you just feel like maybe you've had a stomach illness or something, and your GI system seems out of whack. Taking a probiotic is a good way to get back on track and get back to a balanced gut and flora.
Well, don't some medications that you're on regularly cause stomach issues and bloating? Some of the medications cause that. So do you take a probiotic when that happens? Yeah,
they're a good option to just try to restore some of that balance and also give your immune system a boost. And so they're really a great product, and there's actually a lot of research and studies and science behind the benefits of probiotics that prove that they are effective in helping the immune system and the digestive process in general.
Okay.
And so we're big fans at Medical Park Pharmacy of probiotics, and there's a few things that you really want to look at when you're picking out a probiotic. And we've touched on this in previous segments. Quality is important because you're talking about live bacteria. There's live bacteria in the capsules, and I actually brought a product, and so there's capsules in here, and it's really important that the packaging is high quality, that the brand is high quality, and that they're using the right strains of bacteria, and that they have the right amount or a good amount of bacteria in the product, because you're trying to maintain the quality of live bacteria, and so storage is key, because if the live bacteria is essentially dying, you're not getting what you're paying for. Because you want that live bacteria to be maintained, and you want your body to be able to take it in properly, and it creates that balanced natural flora that we talked about. So when we're looking at a probiotic, you can go right around to the supplement facts, and it'll tell you actually the different strains of bacteria. And these are some big complicated words because they're the actual scientific name for bacteria, but lactobacillus is the most common strain. There's a lot of different variations of lactobacillus, but if you see that, that's usually a good sign. It's the most studied strain, and it's the most common strain that we're using. So if you see that, you're off to a good start. And then there's another one called Bifidobacterium, and that's another common strain. And usually they'll have a mixture of different strains, which is a good thing. You want a variety. It's not natural to have just one strain active in your body. And so we're looking at that. We're also looking at CFUs. So that's an acronym that you'll see that you aren't used to seeing on any other drug, really. It means colony forming units. And so that's kind of the dosage, the amount of bacteria in the product. And so we like to see it in the billions, and that just kind of shows you, how tiny bacteria is. And so we want to see billions. This one actually has 12 billion CFUs per serving, and so it's not always necessarily the higher the better, but you'd like to see the billions, because if you have a really small amount and then you're worried about the integrity of maintaining the live bacteria, you might not be getting much at the end of the day.
Well, what you can do if you're, with all these big words, if you don't understand still what to get, ask the pharmacist. That's what they're there for. They want to serve you. And the customer service at Rocky Mount Medical Park Pharmacy is so good. So just ask them. They want you to. So they'll be glad to help you.
Yes, a lot of information, and is, the typical consumer is going to be unsure of what to get. So this is something that we are always happy to discuss. Right. And I'm a big believer in probiotics. So ask your pharmacist, especially if you're taking an antibiotic.
Right.
And another thing, kids can take probiotics too.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
as we know, kids often take a lot of antibiotics for ear infections and different things. And so there's a specific lactobacillus called rhamnosus that is very well studied in kids. And so it's safe in most ages, over 4 or 5. And you'll see some products over the counter that are actually marketed for kids. So it's a good option for really a lot of different age groups.
That's good to know because, as you said, a lot of kids are on amoxicillin and all these things, for, like you said, ear infections and things and strep throat, whatever. But, yeah, it's good to know that kids can take these and restore some of their good bacteria as well. So,
absolutely.
Now, Thomas, we had, and we appreciate the talk on probiotics because that was very educational. We had a viewer to call in this morning and wanted to know she is on a beta blocker for blood pressure medicine. And she said she is having dreams, and real dreams, like she feels like she's really in the dream, and she doesn't like this. So does this, can you explain this? Could the medication have something to do with her dreams?
Sure. So, like you said, beta blockers are a pretty common class of medications that are used for blood pressure and then also in heart failure, cardiovascular disease. They lower the heart rate, they lower blood pressure. They've been around a long time, but they do fairly commonly cause some sleep disturbances and specifically some vivid dreams.
Wow.
Sometimes nightmares. And about 1/3 of patients taking beta blockers do report some different type of dreams. And so what we always tell patients is if those side effects like that are interfering with your quality of life, that's when it's time to talk to your provider about it. And so for that patient, if it is interfering with sleep, sleep is really important. For health and quality of life.
I'm glad
in
you
general.
said that because Roger and I were talking about that this morning, and a seminar that Dr. Richard Michael is fixing to have, and he's going to talk about how important sleep is.
It's absolutely critical to get sleep, and if you're not getting a good amount of sleep, a lot of other things that you're doing won't really make a difference. So those dreams can happen with beta blockers, and there's a lot of different blood pressure medications. I'm not saying that patient should switch or ask the doctor to switch, but it is worth discussing.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, because you don't want to go like that.
No.
If the dreams are bothering you to the point you can't sleep, then you definitely need to do something.
That'll raise your blood pressure too.
Yeah, that will too. So anyway, thank you for providing that information for us. And I've told our viewers, Thomas, if they have any questions, they can call me during the week, or they can and perhaps we might in the future have a Call the Pharmacist show, or you can let me know in advance and we'll ask Thomas when he comes to please address that. And you said you were willing to do that. So.
Absolutely. Would be happy to, and always enjoy educating, and always come see us at Medical Park Pharmacy, 901 North Winstead Avenue, Suite 100, 252-443-7979. We'd love to serve you.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go see Thomas and friends and pharmacists over at the Boys Willis building. It's really easy access too. You walk in the door and it's right there. On the first floor, you don't have to get on any elevators. It's right there on the first floor. Very easy access. So thank you, Thomas, for coming today.
Thanks, Sandra. Appreciate it.
We'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, we'll be right back with Roger and myself right after this.